when Stalin made a pact with Hitler, that was considered to be pretty bad as well, because Hitler grew to power by battling against the communists, right? One extreme shows up in society, you provoke another extreme, and then everyone blames the reaction rather than the cause, right? Which is why increasing left-wing stuff is provoking increasing right-wing stuff, and everyone's blaming the right wing, which is only going to increase more right-wing and left-wing aggressions and blah, blah, blah. So von Mises had a theory, reasoned through it with evidence that socialism was going to fail, and he's a free market guy. And the communists had a theory that socialism was going to be successful. And then, a couple of decades after von Mises wrote, it was revealed that socialism was behaving exactly as the free marketers had predicted, and was behaving the exact opposite of what the Marxists had predicted. Boom! That's it, baby. Game over. Everybody go home. It's done. Stick a fork in it. Flip it. Over. Done. Back in the rear view. History. Error. Sorry about the 100 million dead, but sometimes you slip a couple of digits when designing the future. Bad job. It's over. So, mounting logic and evidence. Evidence, logic, objectivity, facts, reality, you name it. All of it undermining the leftist ideal. So, what do you do? What do you do in that moment of crisis? And it was an astonishing crisis. Because it's not only like you've just made a mistake. People who support in Venezuela, there are people dying, children being sold, women selling themselves into prostitution just for a loaf of bread. If you've supported this stuff, the amount of blood on your hands is absolutely beyond staggering. I genuinely think that if you've served an immoral doctrine to this degree and for this long, holy crap. I really believe, it's not an argument, I'm just saying what I believe. I really believe that if you actually processed the amount of harm that you've engendered in the world, the amount of destruction and deaths and suicides and murders and evisceration of human potential and opportunity, and if you really process that, you'd kill yourself. I think that when you've dedicated yourself to that demonic a doctrine for long enough, and if you've defended it and extended it, right? Because if the people on the left had said, oh, wow, there's this big experiment going on in Russia, we better go find some way about it, we got to go find out if it works. They find out it's not working, they should push back against it right away. That can be an honorable and good thing to do. They could have saved decades and 100 million lives if they had done what their doctrine damn well suggested and gone to find the empirical evidence that was associated with its implementation. They could have saved Korea. We'd have no North Korea. They could have saved China. No Chairman Mao. No, 60 million people killed or 50 million people killed under Chairman Mao. It's so weird when you can't even round it off to the nearest 10 million sometimes. They would have saved Cambodia. They would have saved Eastern Europe. They would have saved North Vietnam. They would have saved the Vietnam, like an enormous amount of human suffering, more than the two world wars put together. They would have saved all of that. If instead they covered it up and extended it, if you really got that, like if you had the capacity, if you had empathy, you wouldn't do that anyway. But I really think that if, like, it becomes life and death, they have to destroy logic and evidence. Otherwise, logic and evidence will literally destroy them. Literally destroy them. They will become so brutally depressed and suicidal, they will take themselves out. Or they'll be so disgusting and vile and viewed so negatively that nobody will want to have sex with them and their genes will die out, which is an intergenerational predation that organisms do an extraordinary amount to avoid. Reason and evidence have destroyed Marxism. What are we going to do? Well, we're going to destroy reason and evidence. Communism has been proved both false, destructive, and immoral beyond individual imagination. Communism has been disproven. Therefore, the concept of proof must be abandoned. Can't really prove anything. There's no reality. Feelings are more important than thoughts because we really want socialism. We really feel that socialism is a great thing. So emotions must become the supreme arbiter of human values.